Well, the story that we're breaking right now is not just a contradiction, but a full-blown global double standard. The United States' own Congressional Research Service has called out Pakistan as a terror hub, a country where groups like LAT and Jaish continue to operate. The latest report has admitted what India has been saying for the longest time, that Pakistan-based terror groups not only want to target India, but also want to annex Jammu and Kashmir. And yet, as per the reports, the same US is now allowing Pakistan to host and mediate talks in the war. Remember, a few days ago, US President Donald Trump amplified Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's mediation offer, signaling a support for Pakistan's role in brokering the US-Iran dialogue. So for America, Pakistan is a terror hub where terror networks remain active, but in their diplomacy, Pakistan is suddenly a peace broker. What a joke. Well, on this, and to get you more perspective, let me go across to my colleague Bhavtosh, who's been tracking all the details. Good morning, Bhavtosh. On one hand, Donald Trump has waged a war on Iran and is okay with in fact, Pakistan helping in brokering peace. But on the other, it is calling Pakistan a terror hub. Is this a global diplomacy or a global hypocrisy? Give us more details.
Yes, Akansha, good morning. This is a hypocrisy because there are 12 of the 15 terror groups that have been mentioned in this report. 12 are foreign terrorist organizations designated by US. In fact, one of the terror groups that have been mentioned is Harkatul Mujahideen, which is responsible for the hijacking of Indian Airlines plane in 1997, which led to the release of Maulana Masood Azhar and others. Then Maulana Masood Azhar went ahead and formed Jaish-e-Mohammed. Of the many terror organizations that have been mentioned in this report, various terror groups like Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, others have been mentioned. Particularly, the terror groups that have been mentioned are also responsible for carrying out some of the biggest terror attacks in India. Lashkar-e-Taiba is responsible for carrying out 26/11 terror attack. Jaish-e-Mohammed is responsible for carrying out attack at Indian Parliament in December 2021. Harkatul Jihadi Islami is responsible for kidnapping German tourists in Kashmir in late 1999. There are several incidents that have been mentioned in this congressional report. Importantly, these terror groups that are active in Pakistan have been carrying out various terror activities in India. The report specifically mentioned one thing, that these terror groups are in fact being encouraged by Pakistan, and they have been carrying out terror activities in India for not 1 or 2 years, but over a decade, or in some cases over 2 to 3 decades. Particularly mentioned groups are Harkatul Jihadi Islami, which was formed in early 1980s, and since then it has been carrying out terror activities in India. Harkatul Mujahideen was formed in 1987. It has been designated as a terror outfit in 1999. And one can see that there is a pattern in formation of these groups, and subsequently these terror groups have been carrying out various terror activities in India.
Absolutely, and the report also, in fact, mentions Jammu and Kashmir as well. Let me also go across to Arsen Singh. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting with us. On one hand, Donald Trump has waged a war on Iran. A war is going on in West Asia. US is absolutely fine with Pakistan helping with mediation process there, but is also calling out Pakistan for the terror attacks and being a terror hub. Is this a joke?
No, it has always been the case. For the American establishment, Pakistan is a vector. And for Pakistan military, the Jihadi Tanzeems are a vector. So the relationship is very clear. And that is how, the United States of America sitting comfortably 10,000 kilometers away, wheels spar. These are the vectors which they have to tolerate. And when those vectors are not impacting US, it is impacting India. So the lesson is that you have to have your own defense doctrines, not dependent on any outside power, and that is what exactly we have been doing. That is why we went in for this Operation Sindoor. And what happens
So the report
happened
mentions what India has been saying for the longest time, that Pakistan-based terror groups, they not only want to target our country, but they also want to divide Jammu and Kashmir. And that is what has been mentioned in this report as well. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting with us and bringing your perspective on this. But remember earlier, America's own intelligence chief had raised a massive red flag in the 2026 annual threat assessment report that she presented to the Intelligence Committee. In that, she also named Pakistan alongside China, Russia, Iran and North Korea as the countries developing missile systems that could put US homeland within the striking range. Listen into what she said.
The intelligence community assesses that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran and Pakistan have been researching and developing an array of novel, advanced or traditional missile delivery systems with nuclear and conventional payloads that put our homeland within range. The IC assesses that threats to the homeland will expand collectively to more than 16,000 missiles by 2035, from the current assessed figure of more than 3,000 missiles. Pakistan's long-range ballistic missile development potentially could include ICBMs with a range capable of striking the homeland.
So, Bhaktosh, take us through more details as far as the report by United States is concerned, because it also mentions India as well, Jammu and Kashmir, and threat that Pakistan poses to our country that we've been saying in the last few years.
Yes, Akansha, what is very important as far as this report is concerned is mention of Jaish-e-Mohammed. Now, as far as Jaish-e-Mohammed is concerned, one can say it's one of the most dangerous terror outfit in the world. And in the report, it's mentioned that it's not only targeting India, but it has also openly declared a war on the United States. Now, in this report, for the first time, it's mentioned that Jaish-e-Mohammed, the globally designated terror outfit, is planning to carry out terror attack in United States. As far as Lashkar-e-Taiba is concerned, we all know the kind of terror attacks it has carried out in India. Not only 26/11, its offshoot TRF has carried out the most heinous terror attack that India witnessed last year. That is the Pahalgam terror attack, in which in fact led to a military confrontation between India and Pakistan. And TRF was later designated as a foreign terrorist organization by US. Now, these two terror outfits, Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, is probably the most dangerous terror outfit. Other organizations, whether it's Fuji, Hizbul Mujahideen and other organizations, have been formed again by ISI, and their individuals, their terrorists, designated terrorists, were responsible for Kandahar Kandahar hostage crisis, which in fact led to release of Maulana Masood Azhar, who in fact later on formed Jaish-e-Mohammed. The fact that they have been mentioned in this report clearly shows that the US knows that these terror organizations are operating from Pakistan. But the fact that though they have been mentioned in this report clearly shows the US knows this, but they have gone ahead and allowed Pakistan to, in a way, mediate between various Gulf countries, and they hope that some kind of peace can be achieved between Gulf countries and Israel.
Absolutely. So the report mentions that Pakistan is still a base for terrorists targeting India. But it is not just about attack on India or any other country. It also mentions the increase in terror-related deaths in Pakistan as well, from just 300 in 2019, as it mentions, all the way to around 4,000 in the last 1 year. Take us through more details about that.
Yes, the report mentions 2 or 3 very important things. One, that in 2018, Pakistan was put in the grey list of FATF. In fact, that led Pakistan to take some kind of action against a few of these terror organizations. But it also mentioned one thing, that Pakistan, the fact that Pakistan is breeding these various terror outfits have also led to collateral damage. 4,000, a huge number of people have died in various terror activities. Majority of them have died in Balochistan area, and even their cities have also seen various terror-related deaths. It was around 300 deaths in 2019, but it has led to a large number of deaths in 2025. 4,350 deaths have taken place in 2025, probably the largest number of deaths across the globe. It also mentioned other terrorist outfits that are operating in Pakistan, particularly Al-Qaeda, that is still active in Pakistan. Also another group, Akansha, that is still active in Pakistan is Al-Qaeda in Indian subcontinent. So very dominant these days, but it has mentioned that it is still operating from there. Other groups that are mentioned include Balochistan Liberation Army, Tehrik-e-Taliban, which is also, in fact, has been responsible for several deaths in Pakistan. And there are other groups that are operating in Pakistan. 12 of the 15 groups that are mentioned are on the foreign terrorist organization that have been designated as global terror organization by United States.
Absolutely, and this is hypocrisy on display because remember, in this report, US has mentioned that Pakistan remains a terror hub. While on the other hand, remember just a few days back, as far as Donald Trump is concerned, he had reposted this particular post by in fact, Ishaqdar of Pakistan, in which he had mentioned that I'm pleased to share a great news that government of Iran has agreed to allow 20 more ships under the Pakistan flag to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. 2 ships will cross the Strait daily. But this is welcome and constructive gesture by Iran, deserves appreciation. It is in fact, he goes on to say that the positive announcement marks a meaningful step towards peace and will strengthen our effort in that direction. Dialogue, diplomacy, and such confidence-building measure are the only way forward. So Donald Trump had reposted this, and this was at a time when the reports were hinting that as far as Pakistan is concerned, they will be part of the mediation process as far as Iran war is concerned. And there is also a possibility that there could be talks in Islamabad to find out, to broker a peace. But Batosh, this goes on to show us the hypocrisy, because on one hand, US is calling out Pakistan, calling it out for being a terror hub. On the other hand, it is allowing Pakistan to host and mediate talks in the war. In fact, just a few days back, as we also showed to our viewers, US President Donald Trump amplified Pakistani Prime Minister's mediation offer as well. A complete hypocrisy at display.
Yes, Akansha, that clearly shows the hypocrisy not only on part of US but also on the part of Pakistan. Pakistan is in fact showing to the world that they are on the global stage. They are helping some kind of mediation between various players, and they are hopeful that this will give them a global recognition. The report, if we go by the report, it also mentions that Pakistan, because of its dubious distinction of allowing these terror outfits to operate from their soil, it was put on the grey list of FATF, and it was only 3 years later that it was removed from the grey list in 2021. Now, if we go by the report, the report also mentions that the number of deaths increased from 365 in 2019, and there was terror-related deaths jumped to 4,001 in 2025, which is probably the highest number of deaths that have taken place in any country. But this is because of the fact that Pakistan has been encouraging these terror groups to operate from the soil since 1980. Now, all these terror groups came into existence since 1980 when ISI, particularly their leader or their president, General Zia, allowed ISI to allow these terror outfits to come into existence.
All right. So clearly goes on to show that for America, Pakistan is a terror hub where terror networks remain active. But in their diplomacy, Pakistan is suddenly a peace broker. We'll continue to get you more updates and reaction on this big story that we're tracking. With this, a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.